Mike Perry is one of a kind in the fighting world, a limited edition piece, often seen as the face or the flag bearer of bare-knuckle combat. He's a dying breed of fighter.
Mike Perry, that's one of those guys. If you're a promoter, grab that guy.
Oh my God.
Great on the microphone, great interviews. He's either going to get knocked out or he's going to knock somebody out. He will roll the dice. You know, he's the perfect guy for any organization.
A fighter in the 21st century with the mindset of a Roman gladiator in the realest sense, ready for unarmed combat. A true personification of BMF, Baddest Motherf, or as Stone Cold likes to say, the toughest S.O.B in the business.
Why you gotta be gay with it?
Perry has a knack for creating viral moments, thus capturing the attention of today's fast-paced TikTok-driven audience. He's exactly what the combat sports audience consumes, like popcorn. What's up, fight fans? Get ready for a ride packed with punches and personality with the platinum in the driving seat, as we take a look at his career and what lies ahead for him. But before that, subscribe to Sportskeeda MMA and smash the bell icon to never miss any of our videos. Growing up with his brother and two sisters in Flint, Mike faced bullying due to being a minority in the area. To combat this, Perry began training in martial arts at the age of 11. Despite a challenging upbringing, Perry found his purpose in life when he landed a job as a trainer at a UFC gym. This opportunity ignited his passion for martial arts even further and eventually led him to pursue a formal career in the sport. He stormed into the UFC with a record of 7-0, ready to flip the script in the welterweight division. Many had high hopes for him owing to his winning streak.
But I'm here now. I'm gonna put you to sleep. Let me take over from here.
Perry wasn't your typical UFC fighter. He came in with grit, talking smack, and backing it up with his fists. His early fights were like watching a wrecking ball in action. Remember that vicious KO against Danny Roberts? Absolute madness. But it wasn't just about his fighting style. Perry was also a character outside the cage. He'd trash talk opponents, hype up fights on social media, and just do things his way. Some liked the uniqueness he brought with him, others labeled him cringe, but everyone tuned in to watch the package that is Platinum Mike Perry.
Look, now I'm fighting someone who I look up to, someone who was kind to me and friendly to me. But I gotta fucking kill this guy.
Now, as with any roller coaster, Perry's UFC career had its ups and downs. There were those highlight reel knockouts that made you go, whoa! But there were also tough losses and controversies. Remember when he missed weight at UFC 255, or that crazy incident outside a bar? Dude had his share of drama, no doubt. Despite the bumps, Perry kept grinding. His fights were always a must-watch. Win or lose, he left it all in the cage. You never knew what would happen next. Everybody knew he was on the downside with a lackluster record of 7-8 in the octagon. Let me remind you again that he came in with a 7-0 record. This is uninspiring for any wannabe MMA fighter, let alone a fighter talking about dethroning the Trailblazers in the UFC.
Because I didn't get cut, I fought my contract out.
Fast forward to post-UFC life, Perry wasn't content with just sticking to full combat MMA. He prides himself on his boxing prowess. So naturally, he wanted to test himself against the best of the strikers inside the ropes, trading in the kicks for just punches. A motivated Perry didn't hang up his gloves once he was released from the UFC. Instead, he took the first ticket and went into the world of blood and guts with raw action inside the ropes. He jumped into the bare-knuckle boxing scene. Yes, you heard that right, bare-knuckle. This shows Perry's appetite for hardcore combat is off the charts. Bare-knuckle fighting isn't for the faint-hearted. It's the old-school bare-knuckle brawling where you feel every punch. It's a whole new ball game, but Perry adapted and showed he's got the skills beyond MMA. Mike brought the same intensity from the UFC, but with even less padding, and then became a monster in that realm. He's faced some tough dudes in there and held his own, proving that he's not just a slick striker but a legit fighter across different arenas. Since trading the UFC octagon for the squared circle of BKFC, he's been on a 5-fight winning streak. He knocked out 2 former UFC champions, Eddie Alvarez and Luke Rockhold, along with victories against 2 former UFC fighters and a controversial win over Michael Venom Page.
I'm the undisputed king of bare-knuckle. I'm #1 pound for pound. Anybody who think differently.
Mike Perry's trajectory in combat sports has been nothing short of surprising and tumultuous. In 2021, following a string of losses in the UFC and amidst personal controversies, Perry seemed to be at a crossroads in his career. Many called him a journeyman during his stay with the UFC. Not anymore. He's firmly established himself in the bare-knuckle world as Mr. Bare-Knuckle. He beats the living daylights out of his adversaries, be it inside the ring or a cage. He just seems barbaric in there, with blood dripping down his nose and a face full of sweat and lacerations. Oh god, isn't this criminal or what? He's just there for pure, glorified violence. In the UFC, Perry was always known for drawing attention, both positive and negative, to his fights. Despite this attention, it was evident to many that he wasn't genuinely happy. Inside the octagon, he was like a square peg in a round hole.
This bare-knuckle boxing thing has been fascinating to watch, man, because it's like someone designed the perfect sport for you. There's a pain and there's a danger and there's a wildness of it that even some very great fighters, they don't want that experience once they're in there, but you seem to thrive on it.
Now with BKFC, the fit seems perfect for him. He appears genuinely happy with where he is, and this happiness is reflected on his face. Perry and bare-knuckle feel like a match made in heaven. Perry has hit a grand slam since leaving the UFC. His charismatic presence and fighting prowess have propelled him to the top echelons of the sport, and he's expected to continue making waves, particularly in the bare-knuckle fighting scene, for years to come. Now let's address the elephant in the room, Perry's controversial side. The guy's got a knack for stirring the pot, whether it's trash-talking opponents or his antics outside the cage. It's part of what makes him polarizing. Some say he's just being real, others call it a put-up act, a controversial gimmick.
Any other questions?
But here's the thing, controversy sells. People tune in to see what Perry's going to do next, in a sport where personalities often play a big role as skills. Perry's got both in spades. Either way, he compels the viewer to tune in. We all know what's next for Mike Perry, a boxing fight with Jake Paul. This fight is generating significant traction among the fight fans, even though it may not be the most prestigious event on the boxing calendar. This matchup between the YouTuber turned boxing star and the former UFC fighter was a makeshift main event, since Paul was earlier supposed to fight Mike Tyson.
Platinum Mike Perry, a man that I have a lot of respect for, because this man is a real fighter.
The problem child enters the ring with apparent physical and statistical advantages over Perry. However, Perry's reputation for durability and his relentless fighting style suggest he could provide Paul with his most challenging opponent yet. Only God knows who wins, but with both in the ring soon, be ready for some unique drama to come out, which will be the highlight of the fight night. Platinum is a true character in himself, evident by his time in the UFC and then becoming must-see TV in BKFC. Mike has solidified his status as a significant draw in combat sports. Mike Perry isn't your average fighter. He's a showman, a warrior, and a lightning rod for controversy. His journey from the UFC to bare-knuckle and boxing is a testament to his love for combat sports and violence in equal parts.
It's like that's what the baddest that ever lived, dude. Mike Perry, they're gonna talk about me just like they did Mike Tyson.
The king of violence gets eyeballs, clicks, and sells tickets. He's a promoter's dream to have with them. So here's to Mike Perry, the face of bare-knuckle boxing and a fighter who's as real as they come. It seems like the self-styled king of violence found his true calling in the realm of bare-knuckle.
Can I get a face-off with Conor McGregor?
Love him or loathe him, you can't deny the dude's all heart. Whether he continues to brawl in BKFC, goes inside the ropes for another boxing fight, or surprises us with something new. One thing's certain, Mike Perry ain't done making headlines, and that's the platinum standard. So what do you think of Mike Perry, his career and journey in the combat sports world? Will he knock out Jake Paul in his fight this weekend? What will be his lasting legacy in the sport? Drop your thoughts in the comments section. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to push that notification bell, alright? Hit the like button and subscribe on your way out, and keep coming back for more of these videos on Sportskeeda MMA.